Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vāmana Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath. Shar Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय. सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय. Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī Pāda Ki Jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Tithi Ki Jai. Shri Vāmana Dvādaśī Ki Jai. Vāman Dev Ki Jai. Vāman Dvādaśī Tithi Palan Kari Vakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shravana Mahadvadashi Tithi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitil Pravishta Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hari Bol again, Raseshwari Mataji. Glad you're joining again, even after all that reading. All right, so let's read about special days today. What should we start off with? Vamandev or with Jīva Gosvāmī? Let's start with Jīva Gosvāmī. Or maybe it's proper to start with Vamandev. Okay, let's start with Vamandev. Okay. Let me change the font. Vamandev Avirbhav. September 7th, 2022 is Vamandev's Avirbhav in Vrindavan, India. The following is an excerpt of a Bhavanuvad of a discourse Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj gave on September 13th, 2016. Today is a special day. It is the appearance day of Vamandev. For those observing Chaturmas Vrat, today is also a special tithi known as Parsha Parivartan. Bhagavan, who has been resting facing north, will today turn to the other side, facing south. Interesting. There are 8 Mahadvadashis: Jaya, Vijaya, Jayanti, Papamochani, Pakshavardhini, Vyanjali, Bhaimi, and Pashankusha. Which Mahadvadashi is today? Because today is also Mahadvadashi. Anyways, doesn't matter. There's no rule that all 8 will appear every year. However, if they all do appear in a year, then it is only after another 8 years that they will reappear together within 1 year. Oh, so that happens every 8 years? Interesting. Today is another special tithi. It is the Avirbhav tithi of Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī, who is the youngest among the Shar Goswamis. There are so many tithis on this day. Bhagavan said in Gita chapter 4, verse 8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Deliverance of a special kind. Śrīla Jayadev Goswāmī saying, Keshavadrita Meena Sharira, Keshavadrita Kurma Sharira, Jai Jagadisha Hare. That Bhagavan appears in the form of a fish, tortoise, boar, and so on. But particular incarnations of Bhagavan, like Varaha, Kurma, and Matsya, are not as important as Vāmana and Nrsimhadev. Why are their creations more significant? Because paritran, deliverance, is of many types. And of the types of paritran, the benefits, and the type of paritran that benefits others the most has been categorized separately. In all incarnations, there is paritran, delivering the pious. But in incarnations like Vāmana and Nrsimhadev, there is also a special deliverance, whereas in Parshuram's incarnation, there is nothing special in his deliverance. Bhagavan's deception is also his compassion. Just curious who's all here now. Sudevi Didi, Dandavat Pranams. In the case of Vāmana, when Bali Maharaj conquered all the three worlds and took over the throne of Indra, reducing him to a pauper, Indra's mother Aditi prayed to Kashyapa to reinstate her son back as the king of heaven. Kashyapa had two wives, Aditi and Diti. All the sons of Aditi were demigods, while all the sons of Diti were demons. On the instructions of Kashyapa, Aditi performed severe penance, and Bhagavan mercifully appeared to her as her son Vāmana, who was the younger brother of Indra. So he is also known as Upendra. Because Indra and Bali belonged to the same family and were related to Bhagavan in this incarnation, he decided to trick or cheat Bali to give the throne back to Indra. That is why the word chalayasi, which means deception, has been used in this Dashavatar Stotram. Chalayasi vikramane balimarbhutavaman. O Lord Hari, who assumes the form of a dwarf Brahman, all glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps, you deceive King Bali. Bhagavan's deceit is also his pastime. It is not a fault in him. All his activities are full of compassion. Just like sugar candy, no matter which side you taste it from, it will taste the same. There won't be any difference. However, not everyone will understand this. Only 3 steps of land. One second. Let me close this. Oh, Haribo, Pavatarini Mataji, and Prajumna Prabhu and Mantaramurti Mataji. Haribo. Only 3 steps of land. Bali Maharaj had already conquered Swarga and Patal. In order to conquer all the remaining places in the 14 planetary systems, Bali Maharaj was performing a fire sacrifice, a yajna, to please Yagyapati Bhagavan. Shukracharya, the spiritual master of the demons, was the chief among the yajna performers. Vāmana appeared at the place of the fire sacrifice in the form of a dwarf Brahman, Brahma Bhattu, carrying a rod, water pot, umbrella, and wearing wooden sandals. Bali Maharaj welcomed him and said, "You are a Brahman Bhattu and have to ask me for something. What do you desire?" Vāmana replied, "I ask you for 3 steps of land. I desire to walk the path of eternal welfare, Navritti Marg, and not the path of a sense enjoyment, Pravritti Marg." To this, Bali Maharaj smilingly said, Your intelligence is just like your stature. It is dwarfed. Would you beg alms from others as well as would you beg alms from others as well as after accepting alms from me? I can provide you with everything. What do you desire? Would you like to marry a Brahmin girl? Or do you desire 10 villages to maintain a family? Vamandev replied, No, I took a vow to perform austerities, so anything more than 3 steps of land will turn my mind towards sense enjoyment. Bali Maharaj pleaded, Please reconsider. Vamandev persisted, I spoke only after giving it proper thought. Offering the self. But then Shukracharya told Bali Maharaj, He is not Bhattu, he is not a dwarf, he is Bhagavan. On the pretext of begging 3 steps of land, he will take away everything. Then where will you reside? Hearing this, Bali Maharaj contemplated. If he is Bhagavan himself, even without offering him anything, he can still snatch away everything from me. So it is better for me to offer charity and assume the position of a donor. Just as Bali Maharaj conveyed this decision, Vamandev, assuming a very large form, covered the entire Svargaloka, the higher planets, with his first step. And with his second step, he covered all the outer worlds. He then asked Bali Maharaj, Where shall I keep my third step? You are bound by your promise, so you have to keep your word. In fear of his defeat, Bali Maharaj looked towards his wife, Vindhyavali, who alluded to what he should do by touching her own head. You gave all your material possessions, but you have not given your very self. Wow, very intelligent wife. Then Bali Maharaj surrendered his head before Vamandev, saying, You may keep your foot this step upon my head. Vamandev then manifested a third foot from his left navel and rested it upon the head of Bali Maharaj. Role reversal. Vamandev added, Until now, you were the donor. Until now, you were the donor and I was the receiver. Now I am the giver and you are the receiver. Bali Maharaj's foolish army was prepared for battle. Bali Maharaj ordered, Tasmat kalam pratikshadvam. Please wait, because the time is not in our favor now. But overpowered by a sense of duty, his army proceeded to fight. Sometimes even the prime minister has to submit to the instructions of his bodyguards, our security personnel. Why did Rajiv Gandhi die? Although he was not a prime minister, he was still under his security personnel. He had gone to South India, Tamil Nadu, for campaigning. Yet he refused to pay heed to the instructions of his security and went to meet the people in the rallies and was assassinated as a result. Had he adhered to his security personnel's advice, his life would have been spared. This is an ancient ordinance for any head of state to follow counsel of his security personnel. When Bali Maharaj's army saw him bound by the ropes of Varuna, Babanda Varuna Pashar, arrested with the ropes of Varuna, that's in Srimad Bhagavatam 8:21-26, what could they do? Vamandev said, Now I am the donor and you are the receiver. I shall give you whatever you ask for. Did Bali Maharaj ask for the lost kingdom? Did his wife advise him to ask for something? No, but his sister Ratnavali, who upon first seeing Vamandev said, If this beautiful young lad were my son, I would have taken him on my lap and breastfed him. However, later, after Vamandev snatched everything from her brother, she said, If he were my son, I would have poisoned and killed him. That is why, later, she became Putana. Such are the pastimes of Bhagavan. They are infinite. One second, I just want to make sure I'm using the right mic. Dandavat pranams Gargaraj ji. Yes, it's connected. So different perspectives. Thus, when Bali Maharaj was tied, he prayed, Vamandev, may your soothing lotus feet, which you have placed upon my head, always remain there. Do not take them back. This pastime of Bhagavan is viewed in two different ways. One by the karma kandis and gyan kandis, one kandis and gyan kandis, and another by the devotees. Devotees perceive that Bali Maharaj surrendered himself completely to Bhagavan and pleased him, while karmis perceive that Bali Maharaj offered charity beyond his capacity and therefore became bound. They even composed a shloka on this thought. Ati darpe hatta lanka, ati mane chakorava, ati dane bali badha, ati sarvatra garhitam. Excessive pride destroyed the golden kingdom of Ravan. Excessive feeling that I am great destroyed the Kauravas, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Excessive charity got Bali bound up. Too much of everything is bad. That's so funny. The Karma Kandis say that Bali Maharaj did wrong, huh? Because of his pride, Ravan lost Lanka. Duryodhan, who craved honor and respect and thought himself to be a great personality, eventually met with ill fate. Don't just follow, know the import. So Bali Maharaj first said to Vamandev, keep your third foot upon my head, and next begged for the second boon, and please do not withdraw it. When did Bhagavan go back to the Dham? Lakshmi Devi came as a Brahmani, referring to Bali as her brother, and requested Bali that Vamandev be returned. And afterwards, she tied a Raksha Sutra on the hand of Bali. So when you'll celebrate Raksha Bandhan, Bali's name is in the Raksha Bandhan mantra. Yena Bandho Bali Raja Devendra Mahabala. I didn't know there was a Raksha Bandhan mantra. That's cool. We simply follow as a custom what comes down in parampara. But if we study the practices, then all these things become clear and meaningful. So Bhagavan's 3 feet, his 3 manifestations, he has his 3 feet, his 3 manifestations. One stays with Bali Maharaj in the Patal Lok, one in the Kshira Sagar, and the last in Vaikuntha. Nowadays, no one follows all these things. Even a mother does not know the birth tithi of her son. She just refers to the date on the English calendar, the solar calendar, whereas we refer to the tithi, the lunar calendar. We determine the tithi based on the panchanga. Panchanga is prepared taking 5 attributes into consideration: tithi, nakshatra, karan, yoga, and vara. Different calculations. So today is Vāman Dvādaśī, the day of Vamandev's appearance. But sometimes there's a difference of opinion about Dvādaśī tithis. There are 8 Maha Dvādaśīs: Jaya, Vijaya, Jayanti, Papamochani, Trisprisha, Vyanjali, Parshva, and Bhaimi. All these are Maha Dvādaśīs. The Vaishnavas calculate the tithis in a different way than the Smartas. Therefore, Akadashi may fall on different days. According to Vaishnavas Smritis and Smarta, according to Vaishnavas Smritis and Smarta thoughts, Tithi sometimes falls on different days. Some observe Dashama Vidya Akadashi, where there is a combination of Dashami and Akadashi Tithis together. In other words, Vaishnavas do not consider it a pure Akadashi if the Akadashi Tithi was not on at Arunodoy. When Duryodhan's mother Gandhari asked Yudhishthira Maharaj why her children died before her, he replied that if one observes Dashama Vidya Ekadashi, one will have to suffer the pain of separation from their son, Putra Shoka. Yikes. All right, so Vamandev ki jai. Now we move on to Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī's glories. maybe let's read the short one first and then we'll read the long one after. Hare Krishna, Jose. Oh, could you tell me your devotional name, Jose? Okay. Srila Jīva Gosvāmī's appearance day. Sorry, I'm been sitting reading for a long time, so I'm just getting a little comfortable. So this is Srila Jīva Gosvāmī's appearance day by Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, given on September 25th, 2004. For almost a week in September 2004, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj was giving nightly classes on Bhakti Rasayan, which is the last part of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita. On September 25th, Srila Jīva Goswami's appearance day, Srila Maharaj continued his class series, but he also took a few minutes to glorify Srila Jīva Goswami. The following is a transcription of his brief talk. Srila Jīva Goswami was the nephew of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami. He is a direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Rupa Goswami engaged him in the service of proofreading all his writings, his books. Actually, proofreading is not a completely appropriate word, because Srila Rupa Goswami cannot make any mistakes. Rather, Srila Rupa Goswami engaged Srila Jīva Goswami in this way to bestow mercy upon him. Srila Jīva Goswami preached all the teachings of Rupa Goswami. He supported and explains them with philosophical evidence. When he wrote Gopal Champu, he also explains all the pastimes of Sri Krishna from the point of view of philosophy. It seems that Srila Jīva Goswami supported Swakiyavad, which is the conception that Srimati Radhika and Sri Krishna are married, and that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur supported Parakiyavad, the divine couple's paramour love. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has reconciled the explanations of both. He called his reconciliation Vichar Vishishta, explaining that there is a speciality in their viewpoints, but there's actually no difference in their philosophy or conclusions. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is not less than Srila Jīva Goswami. He composed so many Vedic literatures. He wrote commentaries on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, and Ujjvala Nilamani of Srila Rupa Goswami in his own 3 books called Bindu, Kiran, and Karna. He also wrote Madhurya Kadambini, which is a commentary on the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Adau Shada Tata Sadhu Sangota Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Navritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Atashaktis Tato Bhavas Tata Prema Bhudhanchati Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradur Bhave Bhavit Kramaha. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. And the next stage, one becomes initiated by a self-realized spiritual master, and under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness and self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhav, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love of God is called prem, the highest perfectional stage of life. Also, in his book Ragavartma Chandrika, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains 3 verses dealing with Raganuga Bhakti from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He wrote commentaries on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Nilamani called Ananda Chandrika Tika, and he wrote a commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam called Sarartha Darshini. He wrote very brilliantly. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad himself wrote many commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, including the Shat Sandarbhas, and also a commentary on Ujjalini Lamani and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Today, on his appearance day, we pray to him and remember his lotus feet, especially because he is an eternal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is the eternal associate of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in his form as Sri Vilas Manjari. Oh, Krishna. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired of reading. What time is it? Would you guys mind if I just stop now? And yeah, I'm going to stop now, but I'll paste the link to this class. I'm going to read this class later also myself, but yeah, I'm going to just paste this here so that you could read it on your own when you get a chance. This is also, you'll just find it on purebhakti.com on the front page. And also, if you go to vcvani.com, you will find vcvani.com. You'll find class that Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj gives on Jiva Goswami here. Yeah, I can paste the link here as well. Prajumna Prabhu, I'm not sure because I have a busy day today. So I don't know if I'll be able to read that class later. But you have the link there, so you can read it on your own if you get a chance. Yeah, I don't want to make a false promise. Maybe I'll go live to read that class again, but I don't want to commit to anything because I do have a busy day today. So, all right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Haribol, Haribol, Gaur Haribol. Oh, and if you want a special song to sing today, you can sing this song, Vishaya Vasana Rupa Chittara Vikar. It's in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha, and it's one of the middle verses. It says, Shri Jiva Goswami, what does it say? Shri Jiva Goswami Kabe Siddhanta Salile, Nibhaibe Tarkanale Chitta Jahe Jwale. Praise, O Jiva Goswami, when will you bestow your mercy upon me? And you will, with the water, you will sprinkle, you will shower your water of Siddhanta on me, and thereby extinguish the burning logic in my heart, like the burning dry logic and doubt in my heart, something like that. So that's a really nice verse. So yeah, you can sing that today on this special day. All right. Type the name of the bhajan. Okay, I'll type it in the comments here. It's Vishaya Vasana Rupa. There. Okay, I just typed it in. Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki Jai. Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shishi Radha Damodar Ju ki Jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Pa. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Param Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Pada ki Jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki Jai. Shri Vāman Dev ki jai, Vāman Dvādaśī ki jai, Shri Mahadvadashi ki jai, Titi Palan Kari Vakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Abhinna Vrindavan Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. Oh, that's nice. Mantra Murti Mataji is learning Kejavi by from a recording. Nice. And Krishna Devant. Nice. I'm so happy to hear that. So right now I'm going to go to Radha Damodar and I will make a special prayer for all of you there at Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī's Samadhi. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading, and I hope you're able to find time to read those two other articles, one on purebhakti.com and one on vcvani.com. All right. See you all tomorrow for Srimad Bhagavatam, and also tomorrow is the appearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we will read Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's glories tomorrow as well. All right. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe.